who is Jesus. And when we read in the Old Testament, we find Jesus showing up. Many don't recognize him, but when you read from the different parts of the Bible, you recognize Jesus in many places. And today I will read from the Bible in Daniel 10, 1 to 14, because Daniel had been fasting in 21 days, and I will see what the Bible is saying. Vision of the glorious man. In the 3rd year of Cyrus, king of Persia, a message was revealed to Daniel, whose name was called Belshazzar. The message was true, but the appointed time was long, and he understood the message and had understanding of the vision. In those days, I, Daniel, was mourning 3 full weeks, and I ate no pleasant food, no meat or wine came into my mouth, nor did I anoint myself at all till 3 whole weeks were fulfilled. And this is a very popular way of fasting in the churches today, but it's just a religious way of fasting. And it shows the devil that you don't understand your authority in Jesus. Today we are ruling with Christ, and he shares all his secrets and plans with us. Daniel was not in the same authority. He was not in the same position as we are today as the bride of Jesus. Now on the 24th day of the 1st month, as I was by the side of the great river that is the Tigris, I lifted my eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man clothed in linen, whose waist was girded with gold or uphaz. His body was like beryl, his face like the appearance of lightning, his eyes like torches of fire, his arms and feet like burnished bronze in color, and the sound of his word like the voice of a multitude. This is the same description Apostle John is describing Jesus in the book of Revelation that I was reading in the first session or first part of this teaching. And I, Daniel, also saw the vision, for the men who were with me did not see the vision, but a great terror fell upon them, so that they fled to hide themselves. They couldn't see Jesus, they couldn't see this, but they were feeling it, that Jesus the Almighty was there. And it was very interesting. My son and I were discussing this today about this picture of what they saw Jesus, that many is saying that Jesus has to be a man of brown color because his feet was shining like bronze. But when you also see here that his hair and his face was white shining, so it was not Jesus was not of brown color. He was a Hebrew, and he was of the tribe of Judah. Therefore, I was left alone when I saw this great vision, and no strength remained in me, for my vigor was turned to frailty in me, and I retained no strength. Yes, many times when we come into the presence of the Lord and in front of Jesus, we really get powerless. Everything over ourselves is just dying out. And suddenly a hand touched me, which made me tremble on my knee and on the palms of my hands. And he said to me, O Daniel, man greatly beloved, understand the words that I speak to you, and stand upright, for I have now been sent to you. While he was speaking this word to me, I stood trembling. Then he said to me, and this is Jesus that's saying this tremendous picture what is described, like John saw also. Do not fear, Daniel. From the first day that you set your heart to understand and to humble yourself before your God, your words were heard, and I have come because of your words. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 21 days, and behold, Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me, for I have been left alone there with the king of Persia. Now I have come to make you understand that it will happen to your people in the latter day, for the vision refers to many days yet to come. So we see here that Jesus was fighting with the prince of Persia. And that's also that in the beginning, when God created everything perfect, he put princes and also that they over different areas, and they have a right to be there. Therefore, you also can see that when Jesus threw out all the demons of the pigs, they or out of the man, and they throw him into the pigs because they asked, "Can you put us into the pigs?" And Jesus was doing that because they had a limit right to be in that area. Jesus couldn't send them away, and the same with us. We can't send principalities away. They have a limit. You have a right to be in that area, but we can bind them up so they cannot harm us, or they have no right or no power over us. Prince and kings of Persia are the spiritual principality over Persia, as we can read about in Ephesians 6:10-12. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil, or the arrow or the attack of the devil. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the ruler of the darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in the heavenly places. And so we must understand that we have different princes or rulers, principalities in different areas all over the world. But we have the authority to take them down or bind them so they cannot come in conflict with what we shall do. These forces have a spiritual right to be in the area they are ruling, but they have no power over us as Jesus' friends walking in God's full armor. Daniel didn't have God's full armor, or he was not ruling with Christ as we are doing. Daniel was very limited. Today we shall bind up all the evil forces and throw them away, or bind them, push them aside. Many years ago, Ma'am and I, we were traveling to a town called Harstad in northern part of Norway with a team to have some meetings in a hotel. In the evening before the meeting started the next day, we were on the top of the hotel and praying. Then I got a vision, and I saw King Neptune, the prince of the ocean, the ruler of the ocean, standing in the bay and controlling the city. From old tradition, that when the seaman was passing over Equator, they had to be baptized to King Neptune while they were crossing over. So the demons on all this sinking between seamen or what else, where you see that they get baptized to the devil. And even they were Christian, they were doing that. So I don't understand why they were doing all this. We commanded him to run out in the open ocean. The angels came and pushed him out, and Jesus was standing over the city and guarded the city with open arms. The next day, the conference hall in the hotel were fully packed with people, and many were born again, and we experienced so many tremendous healing miracles, like blind eyes open, deaf hearing, AIDS disappearing, tumor disappearing. And normally in Norway, there are only 30 to 50 people that are coming for a meeting if you are lucky. Are you just a small meeting, you can be lucky if you have 10 people. When a busy day in a church in Norway, you are very happy if you have 300-400. But we must understand, when we are praying in the Spirit, we are praying together with Jesus. And Daniel, he couldn't that. He could only fasting and praying and come closer to God. But he didn't have any authority. He only had authority what King Nebuchadnezzar had given him to rule in some area in Persia. So therefore you have to understand that we are in another level in the Spirit. Jesus took all power away from the devil and his demons and gave it over to us. When he was on the cross, when he had the factor, when he went to the kingdom of death, he bound all the death and the demons there and locked them up in. So they are also locked. So the devil has only power and weapons as we are accepting him to use, or we are giving him authority to use. So when I see a lot of teaching around in the churches that, or they almost discussing with demons and speaking, oh, what are you, and all this, Jesus will never doing that, and we shall not even do that. We take authority and we throw it out. And the same, we never lift up devil. People are so busy to lift up the devil and all his power and everything. He is powerless. But when we are scared and we teach about it, like the family curses, and you can all these stupid things, that you give the devil the power to curse you with all sickness, all bad things. But you have a new bloodline. We are ruling with Christ. We have a new creation. Everything is new. So we must understand that what we are reading here, and everyone says, oh, Daniel was such a man of God. Yes, he was a wonderful man, but you are so much stronger. And especially when, as I was teaching in the last session about to have the wisdom, and the wisdom is giving you everything. So ye must have the wisdom about all our authority, all our promises, all what we have, that the devil is far under our feet. And we don't even say, step behind me, Satan. He just run far into the ocean, be under my feet. You have no rights, you have no power, run away. And when we do that, all the demons, everything is totally locked up. They have no more power. And another very interesting happenings that, I don't like to call it a story in the Bible, because story can be some fake things, but it's real things that happen. Because Daniel's friends, they disobeyed the king. And it's also very interesting to see what's happened there. Therefore, at the time, certain Chaldeans came forward and accused the Jew. They spoke and said to King Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever. It's also very interesting to see that, yes, they accuse the Jews. Today, they accuse us that are burning for Jesus. We that are friends of Jesus. They are accusing us for all kinds of terrible things, that we are using the Beelzebub power, that we are thinking we can rule and all this. We are almost mental sick. But that's normal to be accused. You, O king, have made a decree that everyone who hears the sound of the horn, flute, harp, lyre, and psaltery in symphony with all kinds of music shall fall down and worship the gold image, and whoever does not fall down and worship shall be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. The devil is always clever to make up some tricky things, so we shall get scared, disappointed, weak. So we bow down under the devil, not to be killed, not to be harmed, not to be persecuted. So we must stand in the gap. There are certain Jews whom you have set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not paid due regards to you. They do not serve your gods or worship the gold image which you have set up. And that, will also come in the end time, when the Antichrist is coming, and we also have to, if you bow down from the Antichrist and the devil, you have to worship a picture on your phone, on your computer. What else? We have to worship the picture, and you have to take the mark of the beast 666. So the devil always put up something that guiding people to worship handmade things that have no value. No, if you are ready at the time you hear the sound of the horn, flute, harp, lyre, and psaltery in symphony with all kinds of music, and you fall down and worship the image which I have made good. But if you do not worship, you shall be cast immediately into the midst of a burning fiery furnace, and who is the God who will deliver you from my hands? That's typical the devil. Are you quite sure God has spoke to you? Are your God strong or not? You remember, my hand is strong. That's typical the devil. And if this is the case, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us from your hand, O king. So they immediately answered and said to the comer, we don't even need to answer you in this matter, because this matter has nothing to do with us to do. But if not, let it be known to you, O king, that we do not serve your gods, nor will we worship gold image which you have set up. You see, they were really bold, or they trusted our Heavenly Father that he will rescue them. Like Abraham, he was there put on test to sacrifice his own son, the promised son. And he was ready to do it. We have to be ready to do what the Almighty God is telling us to do. Even it's terrible, even we have to go into the fire. Then Nebuchadnezzar was full of fury, and the expression on his face changed toward Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. He spoke and commanded that they heat the furnace 7 times more than it was usually heated. He gets so angry that he really put on the fire. They're like the devil. When you try to speak nice and they say, no, I don't want it, he gets angry, and he is trying to scare us that we really fall down for him. And he commanded certain mighty men of valor who were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and cast them into the burning fiery furnace. Then these men were bound in their coats, their trousers, their turbans, and their other garments, and were cast in the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Think about yourself, bind together, and you could feel the heat of the heat was so strong that even the soldier that should throw them in, they also had problem. Therefore, because the king command was urgent, and the furnace exceedingly hot, the flame of the fire killed those men who took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down, bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. They was just falling down. They had no power in themselves. Then King Nebuchadnezzar was astonished, and he rose in haste and spoke, saying to his counselors, "Did we not cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire?" They answered and said to the king, "True, O king." "Look," he answered, "I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they are not hurt, and the form of the 4th is like a son of God." Here Jesus came and rescued them in the fire. Jesus is with us through the valley of death. That's also one of the promise. When it's really hard, when it really looks very bad, and also that even in the valley of death, he is there comforting us. He gives us everything what we need, and he brings us through. Then in verse 326 to 30, then Nebuchadnezzar went near the mouth of the burning fiery furnace and spoke, saying, "Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, servant of the Most High God, come out and come here." Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came from the midst of the fire, and the satrap, administrators, governors, and the king's counselors gathered together, and they saw these men on whose body the fire had no power. The hair of their head was not single, nor were their garments affected, and the smell of fire was not on them. That's when you're sitting by a campfire or by cooking in Africa, you always smell smoke from the cooking or from the campfire. You have it in the clothes the day after. But here they were in this terrible oven, and they not single hair, nothing of the garment, and it was not even smelling fire of them. We can go to Isaiah 43:2. There is a very strong promise. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers, they shall not overflow you. When you walk through the fire, you shall not be burned, nor shall the flame scorch you. So you see here, it's a strong promise also in Isaiah that our Almighty God, our Heavenly Father, Jesus Christ, is with us in every situation if we allow him to be with us, and also that we don't give the devil any power and every chance to overcome us. Nebuchadnezzar spoke, saying, "Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who sent his angel and delivered his servants who trusted in him. And they have frustrated the king's word and yelled their bodies that they should not serve nor worship any god except their own God." And here you can see that they don't knew the system about the rules with God, because he sent his angel. But the angels, they are not sons of God. They are only servants, spirits that even shall serve us. We are the sons of God. Jesus was the firstborn of many, and we are today sons of God. So when you see that, he's saying that he see a son of God is Jesus. Therefore, I make a decree that any people, nation, or language which speak anything amiss against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be cut in pieces, and their houses shall be made an ash heap, because there is no other God who can deliver like this. Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon. It's very interesting to see what's happened here. They get promoted because they had wisdom about God's greatness and faithfulness. They trusted Jesus, Son of God, in the fire, and they were obedient to God's commandment. You shall not have other gods, and we shall love our God with all our heart and all our mind and with everything we have. When we are born again and we follow Jesus, two commandments today. We are walking in power and glory. We are totally covered by his glory. And we have all authority in heaven and on earth because we are ruling. We are sitting on the left side together with Jesus in heaven and ruling. And as is written in Proverbs 3 about the wisdom, length of the day is in the wisdom's right hand, and in the wisdom's left hand, riches and honor. So what else happened when you have Jesus, the wisdom, as I was teaching about last time? You have a long life. Many days. That's also the promise. You shall live as you get satisfied with your days. That you feel that, oh, I have done what I shall do. I have done what everything, and the Lord is welcome you in heaven and said, welcome, good servants. Then is your time to die. And in the left hand, you have all the riches and honor. So you see here, they were promoted. They came up in very high position, and they also received a lot of riches, gold, silver, always. They, in Babylon, in Persia at that time, they were so rich, and they had a good salary to be servants there, and they also get honor by all people. And you also can see here that even if some people don't honor them and worship the living God, they should be cut in pieces, and the houses shall be burned down in ashes. So you see that when we walk with Jesus in power, glory, wisdom, everything what he has given to us, and rule with him as friends of Jesus in obedience, to win souls, to build his kingdom, to help people to be made as a bride, not as a baby bride, then we shall really be blessed. We shall have a completely long life as we are satisfied. And I am not yet satisfied. I want to run for at least 20 more years before Jesus can take me back, because it's so many more people to win for Jesus. And soul winning, setting people free from all kinds of evil things. People is so bound, inside church, outside church, wherever you go, you find people bound by religious spirits or others evil spirits, because they have let the devil have power because of the teaching and about religious activities, and they try to fast in 21 days because they don't understand. When you do that, then you also give the devil the power, because, oh, Daniel was doing, then Jesus can do something after. No, you don't need to do it. You shall do it at once, because Jesus has already given you everything. Everything is finished. So you can't add anything. I spoke with like my son here, and before it was very popular. Then everyone said, oh, someone was sick. Oh, I shall pray and fast for you. But where is in the Bible standing that we shall pray and fast for sick people? It's standing, we shall lay hands on them and they shall be healed. They shall recover. We shall open blind eyes. We shall throw out demons. We shall command the cancer to disappear, the tumor to run out. Or all the time people asking me, oh, please pray for me. I have flu, I have fever. Yes, what was Jesus doing? He threatened the fever to run out. He was not praying and fasting for the fever. Because when people are really sick and they are suffering, and then said, oh, I have to pray 21 days or have to pray 2 days and fasting 2 days before you can get healed, then people are suffering in 2 days or 21 days, as you need for yourself to build up your own little image inside you, that now you has done something. Doesn't help anything. You just put burden on people. Be like this tremendous man, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Jesus is with you. Walk through fire. You can walk through water. You can walk through the rivers. You can do what else? And most of all, you can walk on water.